Hey, welcome back to Livin MN Outdoors. I'm Daniel, and thanks for tuning in to another fishing report. Before we dive into the fishing report, if you guys could, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. It really helps out. And if you use any of the guides or resorts mentioned in today's report, please let them know you saw them on Livin MN Outdoors. And with that being said, let's dive into this week's fishing report. This week we're going to start on Mille Lacs Lake. The walleye bite on Mille Lacs has been a little bit hit and miss. Opening weekend, I know some guys did really well. They started trolling right at midnight up through sunrise, pulling crankbaits in the shallows in that 6 to 12 foot of water. They're pulling F11s, flicker shad number 5s and 7s. Golden black or blue and chrome seemed to be working well, and they were picking up some really nice walleyes. Now, a lot of those walleyes they were catching tended to be on the bigger side, that 22 to 27 inch range. They did get a couple those 17 to 20s in there as well, but primarily those bigger fish up in shallow. Now, some other ways to catch those walleyes. Garrison Break, they're doing very well out there. That 8 to 16 foot of water, a 1/4 ounce jig in a spot tail shiner, seem to be doing even better than a leech on a slip bobber. And then the main lake points still in that 8 to 16 foot of water, those were producing some nice fish as well. And then on the north end off of that first break, they were getting some nice fish up there as well. Now, as far as the smallmouth bass bite goes, getting kind of some mixed reports. Some people are saying they're finding some up in shallow. My guess is they're kind of sporadically up in the shallows right now, and primarily I would imagine they are males up in there. Maybe a little bit confused on what time of the year it is, because the majority of the fish do tend to be showing up in that 12 to 18 foot of water out on the shallow rock reefs and those secluded boulders and chunky rock. Now, some really good ways to catch those smallmouth right now: a jig and a paddle tail, a jerk bait, especially with some purple on it if you can get it down there deep enough, and then some hair jigs as well. And the guys fishing walleyes are catching them on live bait as well. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, there are a few guys getting some really nice perch. They seem to be a little bit sporadic. They're getting them onesies, twosies, nothing real good, but they're catching those along with the walleyes. I kind of think the perch are out a little bit deeper than the walleyes right now. That's just a guess. But if you do find a school of them, a jig and a fathead or a slip bobber and a leech is probably your best bet to get those perch to bite. Now, if you are looking for a guide on Mille Lacs Lake or in the Mille Lacs Lake area, we're partnering up with Joe from Keeper's Guide Service. Whether you want to fish walleye and bass or panfish, he can help accommodate all of those types of trips. So if you're looking to get out in the Mille Lacs Lake area, go ahead and give Joe a call from Keeper's Guide Service. All right, now moving up to Leech Lake. The walleye bite on Leech has been kind of hit and miss. It seems like the wind and the cold kind of screwed up the bite that they did have on opener, but things are starting to calm back down now. Not the wind, but the overall weather, and they are starting to pick up a few more walleyes now. Now, the main lake flats and points tended to be pretty tough bite out there. Not a ton of fish on those main lake structures. The majority of the fish that I heard being caught were up in the bays on the sand to weed transitions. In that 6 to 10, maybe even out to 12 foot of water. I know some guys were even getting them up in a little bit shallower in that 4 to 7 foot of water. And some of the fish are still milking, and even some of the females are still squirting out eggs. The best way to catch those fish seem to be on a 1/8 or 1/4 ounce jig tipped with a spot tail shiner. If you can't get spot tails, golden shiners or bigger fat heads or rainbows will work as well, but the spot tail shiners are definitely the best bait of choice as of right now. Now, one other decent bite going on is the crappie bite. They're getting crappies up in Sucker Bay, Shingobi, in Boy Bay as well, in that 7 to 12 foot of water along the weed flats and on the shoreline weed edges as well. Best ways to get those: a small jig with a minnow style plastic, or a jig under a slip bobber with a fat head is working as well. Now, there is actually a really good largemouth bass bite going on up in the Leech Lake area. 3 to 5 foot of water, silty bottom along the cattails, and throwing a chatterbait has been producing some absolutely massive largemouth bass right now. So if you're looking to get into some largemouth bass, whether on Leech or some of those smaller lakes, check those silty bottoms along the cattails, throw a chatterbait, and you're probably going to catch some absolute mega largemouth bass. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, the perch are pretty scattered. They did get a few here and there, just mixed in fishing for the walleyes. Nothing really truly targetable as far as what I've heard, but they are getting a few nice ones mixed in with those walleyes. Now, if you are looking to hire a guide up in the Leech Lake area, we are partnered with Parker from Davis's Guide Service. He does have some weekend availability still in May, and then his schedule opens up even more in June and throughout the rest of the summer. So if you're looking to get up to the Leech Lake area and want to book a guide, go ahead and give Parker a call from Davis's Guide Service. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Leech Lake, Acorn Hill Resort is located on beautiful Traders Bay. They have cabins, RV sites, seasonal sites, full bar and restaurant, indoor pool, tons of activities, live bait, rental boats, pontoons. If you want it, they probably have it. They do have some availability this coming weekend and throughout the rest of the year. So if you want to get up to Leech Lake, go ahead and give Kyle a call and get a reservation made. Now, Acorn Hill Resort also will be offering up walleye camp again this year. I believe that is June 6th through the 13th. What that is really an in-depth learning on how to fish walleyes on Leech Lake. You'll partner with guides, you'll go on some guided fishing trips, you'll do some seminars, your cabin is provided, your meals are provided. Basically everything you need for that entire week, Acorn Hill Resort will take care of it. So if you want to get up and learn how to fish walleyes even better up on Leech Lake, go ahead and look into walleye camp. Also, they will be doing a muskie camp later in the year in August, very similar to walleye camp, but if you are a muskie angler and want to get better at your trade, go ahead and look into muskie camp taking place later in August. Now, Acorn Hill Resort, they do have a ton of bar activities starting Memorial Weekend. I believe that Thursday. They're going to have some live music. They're going to have bingo, meat raffles, tons of activities going on around the bar there. So if you want to get up to Leech Lake and have a ton of fun, whether you're staying at the resort, want to drive in, boat up, doesn't matter. They have spaces for you to park. Go ahead and check out Acorn Hill Resort. All right, now moving over to Lake Winnie. Lake Winnie was actually, I believe, the better of the three lakes for opening weekend. I know a lot of people limited out on their walleyes. Some of the better areas to target and what the wind would allow for was Tamarack Bay in that 5 to 9 foot of water. I know Tamarack Point was good, the Three Sisters, and really all along those shallow weed lines throughout the bay. Now, the best ways to catch those is a jig and a shiner. Now, those walleyes have started to move out a little bit deeper. Kind of that 9 to 12 has been the sweet spot. Some guys are still getting them up in shallower. The shallow water is better during overcast, windy days, and then out a little bit deeper in that 10 to even out to 14 foot on those calm, sunny days, which we really haven't had too many of. But just pitching a jig and a shiner is working best. I know some guys are already pulling spinners, which it seems a little early for that, but they're having some success with that as well. And then the after dark crankbait bite along those shallow weed lines is producing some nice fish as well. Now, as far as the perch bite goes, they are getting a few perch mixed in with the walleyes, not a ton of them. I would suspect that a lot of the perch have moved out, probably out deeper into that 16 to 24 foot of water, probably heading out more towards the main lake now. But that is just a guess because not a lot of people have been getting them, and not a lot of people have been able to fish the main lake because of the wind. Now, there is a crappie bite going on. The crappies are staging just outside of their spawning grounds. So if you're used to fishing them during the spawn, they're out just a little bit deeper than that right now in that 10 to 18 foot of water. Use your fish finder, locate them, and there are some absolute magnum crappies being caught out on Lake Winnie. Now, if you're looking to hire a guide up in the Lake Winnie area, we're partnering up with Scott from zupsguideservice. He is the premier walleye guide up on Lake Winnie. So if you want to get in on some of the walleye action on Lake Winnie and need a little help, go ahead and call Scott from zupsguideservice. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Lake Winnie, Chad at the Pines Resort. They do not have any cabins available this weekend, and I believe they are full on weekends for the rest of May, but they do have some midweek availability, and they are doing some midweek specials with a 2-night minimum. They also have live bait, full bar and restaurant. Got some bar activities starting up here soon. So if you're looking to get up to Lake Winnie and need a place to stay, go ahead and call Chad from the Pines Resort. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's fishing report. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you make it out fishing and you take some pictures, feel free to send them to us on Facebook Messenger or to our Gmail. Remember, if you do make it out fishing, be kind at the boat ramp, be respectful of other fishermen, don't crowd your neighbor, and most importantly, don't forget to get on out there and get living.